Let's pray. Dear God, we do thank you for the blessings you give us each day. Let us be prepared for our decisions we make tonight. Let us be your will. Thank you for keeping our employees safe. Thank you for everything you give us each day. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Mark?
Join me in the pledge, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. If the board would review the minutes of the April 18th meeting. And we'll get that out of the way.
If no changes, I move to accept.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we'll move on to item 5. JR?
Yes, sir. I'm going to ask Hope and Action Executive Director Paul Henley to come to the podium and the microphone. He's going to discuss with the board the need for some emergency roof repairs at Hope and Action number 2.
And you have a picture? They have pictures
We
of
do.
it?
It should be on line here coming up. There you go.
Thank y'all for wanting to come and talk to you. I talked to JR been months ago about how to get this corrected, and this is the way he suggested we need to get it corrected. And while before I get started, this is all our volunteers for Hope in Action. We've got Twyla, Stephanie G, Helen Byers, and Craig Thomason. We, and I guess, and I'll include myself, we are all volunteers. None of us get paid at Hope in Action. So we've been doing it. How long have you been doing this, Ellen?
20 years.
20 years. Craig's pretty new at it.
2.5.
2.5 years. Stephanie about the same.
Almost 3.
And
How long
Twyla's
you
on
been
our
doing it,
board.
Paul?
I've been doing it since 1986.
18? Oh, 86.
So, but this, some of you old timers remember, this is the old Migrant Center. And before it closed, not many years before it closed, they built these buildings. Before then, they had those little individual trailer houses out there. Well, they built this so that this is not as old as you would think the whole Migrant Center is, but I'd say these buildings are about 40 years old. And there's 12 rooms, and that's where we put the overnight sleepers in. And actually, we've modified the 2 end rooms. One's got an M and a W, that's men and women. So, but you can see the discoloration in the roof. We've been patching it for the last 2 years because it's been leaking so badly. But now with the last little high winds, those asphalt shingles are so brittle, they're just falling off right and left. So we've got a tremendous leaking problem, and we're gonna lose the whole building if we don't put a new roof on it. So we're here asking for help in putting a new roof on it. I've measured it. I know there's some, I know it takes about 50 squares of shingles, and shingles are about, at 30-year asphalt shingles run about $100 a square. It costs about $100 a square to get them installed. So you can kind of put those two together. But we really need to have this repaired. And again, these are your buildings. These, we lease the whole area for a whole $1 a year. And I point out we paid $100. We paid 100 years in advance, so we've already paid that. So we've paid. So we really would like to put a new roof on there. if, on y'all's building, if you would entertain to help us there. But if we don't do something, we're gonna not be able to even use the building for overnight. So, and I don't know if y'all want to address the board and tell them how well it's being used, but y'all might have some questions. We haven't been here very often since I've retired, and it's good to get back and see you guys in the city board. But, y'all got any comments you wanna?
Well, you know, always. I just want you to know as a body that it's not just somebody, that little transient that walks through town that we try to get on about where you're going. This is a lot of our local people, there's local surroundings. It may be like last week, we had a girl, this boyfriend kicked her out, and she was pregnant. So what do you do now? You can ask your local law enforcement too, how often you get a phone call in the middle of the night saying help. You know, can you take, a lot of times it's a female, a lot of times it's family, a lot of times it's just a single male, but, and I can point some people out in this town that, and I have to give glory to God, that He has changed some people's lives. Yes, there's a lot of people come through that have drug problem or alcohol problem, but you know what? God loves him as much as He loves
Say,
us.
preach on, preach.
And we have to me, we have to give them a chance. Yes, there's some success stories, but then there's some that's not. But I don't, we could look in this room probably and see some success stories in some areas and it didn't work for somebody else. But I'm just saying that, matter of fact, let me just tell you a story, okay? One day, he knows I talk too much. You get that? 5 minutes, I won't do this. Anyway, one day this girl came in and she probably was in her mid-20s. And so I said, let me check you in. So I asked her what her name, and these hands started going up like this and moving and just crumbling up, you know. And I said, and every question I asked her, it got worse. And I said, what's going on? She said, I'm a product of human trafficking. And I said, in Hope, Arkansas, you know, she said she had been held captive in Oklahoma City and had gotten away. And I said, well, what about your family? Well, they won't help me. Well, why not? She told us where her sister lived. We got a hold of her sister. We got a hold of a stepmother. But anyway, so I called mental health and I said, we need you, not tomorrow now, you know. So thank God we was able to go right straight out there, and within 5 minutes the guy called her back and talked to her, and he said she needs to go to the hospital. So where? You know, well, Little Rock. She had no clothes, not anything. So we had to stop and buy her some clothes and haul her to Little Rock that night. I walked in that hospital and I said, this is what we have here, and she said, we get this all the time. And we don't think about that being a local thing, but praise God, she came out of the hospital, came back to us and stayed a little while, and her stepmother from Lubbock, Texas came and got her. So we had a happy ending there, you know. But I'm just saying, that's one of the situations you don't think about in our town. But, and then there's a lot of local people that have needs too, and I'll be quiet.
I know the police department knows Hope in Action pretty well. We have a two-way street down there all the time going on. And something
We're
that
blessed
is,
to have you guys. We really are.
seeing Craig last night, he got involved. We ended up giving had to get a train ticket. We bought a fellow a train ticket. Where'd he go?
Little Rock.
Little Rock. So we use a lot of one-way train tickets out of town. But it all initiates from Hope in Action. So that's all I know. Appreciate y'all's support.
Yeah, I tell you, it's definitely a blessing. Being right on by the police station, I see a lot of people send them y'all's way. I tell you what, they're at the end of the rope when they come to you guys. They don't have any other place to go. All right, let's talk about the roof now.
I think it's estimated to be around 12,500 to 15,000 based on Paul's projections. I think the board in our budget, we allotted $75,000 to do some repair here. we could, if the board wanted us to, I think we could certainly divert that amount of money out of that and just don't do certain repairs here and wait till next budget cycle. We could definitely do that and make it work within our budget, and it's really, if that's what the board wants to do, I think we could make that work.
I have a question. The lease, the lease agreement or the memorandum of understanding that we had between the city, what did it call for as far as upkeep and maintenance of facilities?
Well, I haven't read it in about 15 years, so I don't know exactly, but I'm sure it has to do with a similar tenant landlord relationship that at least most of the places that we've dealt with, the owner of the building takes care of the major maintenance.
Just to let you know, Amber and I looked for it. We didn't locate it today. Don't mean we won't locate it soon. We did locate some other similar ones, and there's really a lack of language maybe, and I think Mark happened to drop by earlier today. We talked about maybe needing to update some language, but I think Paul is accurate. Major structural issues, I think the owner would typically would take care of. Minor repairs or minor issues, maybe because of the nature of the lease is so small, maybe renters or lessees could take care of that. But there's no language that I know of that really addresses it, and we haven't really located this lease agreement, so trying to do that.
Yeah. Ms. Heller, you've always in the past kind of had a handy guy that kind of did the day-to-day fixing ups and stuff, correct? Leaks and stuff like that.
That's correct.
So, we're correct now, yeah. I know in the past you've had some others I've known.
He's the one that put those dark green shingles on there.
JR, I mean, it's.
Board, the question, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The issue about the habitability of the place would always be borne by the owner. And that's, if you don't, it sounds like it's not habitable and very soon unless we do something. So I think that falls squarely on the shoulders of the city to do that.
Since the city does own the buildings, I mean, we do have it insured as well.
That's correct.
So if it was hail damage or something later on or something like that, the city should be able to go through insurance on that, correct?
Sure, and our insurance on property is about $10,000 deductible.
Never mind.
Yeah, but I think you're right. If we had hail damage, but this is like 40-year shingles.
Yeah, I know this is a hail damage, or
Yeah.
it may be some, but
But if we replaced the whole roof and then we had hail damage, maybe that would be something
yeah.
that we could file a claim on.
JR, I really would hate to take anything away from fixing this building up. I mean, we got so many things we need to do. What do we have right now in our reserves? Could we not pull this out of reserves instead of taking away from fixing this building? Because to me, it's like taking a Band-Aid off one and putting on another, and I'd rather look at that.
We do have plenty of money in reserves. I mean, and I was gonna let y'all know, we put additional monies in CDs this past week. We have quite a bit looking for future, to plan for the future with, but I really don't see this being a big issue I think we could do it like I suggested.
Okay.
We didn't really have a certain amount of things we were gonna do this year. We just set aside a certain amount of money so we could get to some things as we could.
Okay.
As you may notice, we're working on the floors and now, and we're starting to do some painting around some windows and things like that. So,
Okay.
but I definitely think we could adjust this and make it work.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you check into the price of a metal roof?
No. We're going back to exactly what was on there. What we did.
With that being said, I will say I'm in the process of replacing asphalt with metal, and currently the metal is cheaper than asphalt. So that would be an option you might would like to look at. Kind of like what we did with the Lions Den.
I'm just thinking, to be fair, are y'all gonna bid this out?
Oh,
If the board approves it, the city will take care of and it's not a bid process, it doesn't hit the amount that needs in bidding, but it would require quotes. We get at
Okay,
least 3
I think so.
quotes.
Yeah, that's just,
And I could
Make
quote
sure
it
we
both
don't get
ways, the
some-
way the board wants it. I could quote it try to get 3 quotes with shingles, and I could try to get 3 quotes with replacing it with metal. It's really what the board decides, but I would definitely take care of that. It wouldn't be any responsibility of them.
Okay, well,
Does that require a motion?
It would take a motion and a vote, yes.
I make a motion that we allow city staff to investigate and get quotes and approve the roofing of the Hope in Action 2.
Second it.
okay, motion is second to go into the bids and quotes on roofing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
And just one more thing, if it's okay with the board, I would work with the group to make sure we got the colors they wanted and anything of that nature. Aesthetics, I'm not good at aesthetics.
I think that'll hold up another 60 years.
Might be one of those roofs where it
That's what I
starts
said.
out one color and then it turns into, get a good deal on some shingles.
If we put that to bed, I wanted, while I was still here, I brought a xylophone here to get you guys' opinion on this. The Hope, I'm changing hats, I'm from the Hope Rotary Club. We bought this xylophone about 2 years ago with a little Rotary grant with the idea of putting it at the Park. So we're ready to put it there with Colin Blessing, if you'll let us put it there. That is a xylophone, and it's got, not the same base, the base will be put in concrete, but that's a $1,500 piece of playground equipment right there. With the idea, our thought was at the time, we would buy a little piece every year, so we have a complete band up there one day, but that's our first one, so we're ready to, we'll install it with your blessing at the Pocket Park, if you so would like.
Since they're here. And I'll give you the reason.
Okay, what's the board,
There's no way we would reject a gift.
I think it's cool.
Yes, exactly.
I
And then
think,
your idea to add to it is,
when who we
That
get
was our
to
plan, and we
pick the
kind of
spot.
put it on hold since we didn't get that one on the ground.
somebody.
Now we'll get back
I'll
on
have to give
that.
it some thought.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
Okay, Gerard's gonna get with the park and figure out a spot to put it and then,
Okay.
and then decide.
They just mark the spot, we'll put it in.
Is it all weatherproof? Is it all?
Yeah, it's been sitting outside of my house for the last 2 years.
Just checking it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All he goes out there and plays it.
That's how Dolly wakes him up every morning.
So, good, I'll be waiting to hear, and we'll put it in the ground.
Okay, thank you,
Let him hear, just let
him hear it.
Well, I can't, just do that. It's handbells.
I personally think the chief of police should demonstrate it.
Mark wanna go out and 10 next.
Yes, sir.
We like to hear it, we like to
JR,
hear it.
and you'll figure out why.
And that was left-handed.
Paul, thank the Rotary Club for the gift. Be sure and tell them we appreciate it.
We'll,
And we'll get,
mark it with white paint, and we'll put it in.
good, okay.
It's called what, Paul? What's this called?
A xylophone.
Stick around
Okay.
for a minute.
So, again, they have other pieces of equipment, but you can see how expensive it is, but it's pretty foolproof. That cable on there is actually a cable for the donor there. So, it's gonna stay, but the weather won't hurt it, I guarantee you that.
Right. I would like to take just a second to recognize the Hope in Action crew. I tell you what great volunteers. I tell you what, y'all need some pins to go on. I tell you what a great service. I tell you what, like I said, since I've been down at the shops, it seemed like forever. I've always found it nice to have a place to send people when they coming through and just need a little help. And y'all always welcome. I really appreciate it. So let's give them a round of applause.
Jerry volunteers, he brings Twyla to the meeting.
I told him I was
Jerry?
coming. I said, do you want to go in and be a
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate everything you do. Okay, we're gonna move down to item 10. We're gonna jump around. That's the beautification committee request to put the flags out in downtown.
Yes, sir. The beautification committee met last week, and they have a new program that they would like to start. It's kind of a United States flag initiative within the City of Hope to show national support for our country and encourage patriotism for our citizens. What they would like to do, they want to purchase 80 flags on 6-foot poles, and they would like to be able to line downtown streets of Hope. And it's my understanding that back in the bicentennial, the City of Hope drilled some holes for flags for that purpose, and a lot of those holes still exist. We'd have to clean them out, but we could use those existing holes and maybe drill a few more to put these flags in, and they'd go down like 2nd Street and Main Street, kind of making that X or that plus. And so that's what they would like to do, and sounds like a great idea. I told them we'd bring it to the board, and I think Mark wants to talk about it and some other folks.
Yeah, just touch on that a little bit. This is gonna be a project we're gonna initiate, but we also want to expand it for Main Street, Hervey, Hazel, in the future as we can afford it and everything. What it is gonna require, there are several areas that do not have the holes, that we are gonna have to go in and drill the new holes for the flag poles to fit in. Since we've been here tonight and everything, I got a verbal commitment from Mr. Henley that the Rotary Club will also help drill these holes. So that's the reason I wanted to go ahead and move this while he was still here. And I think that would be an honorable thing for him to help the beautification. And
Yeah.
just kind of touch base real quick, the difference between the beautification, if I may, and the downtown network. We're kind of working with the flowers and everything, flower beds, but I think we were stepping on each other's feet. So the beautification committee now, since we're actually for the City of Hope, we're expanding and also gonna be working the, I guess you call it the corridor areas and stuff, the welcome signs and stuff like that. We're gonna let downtown network just go with downtown only. But we wanted to do this flag deal. We're gonna do it 4 days a year: Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Labor Day, and 4th of July. And it's going to eventually reach to probably about 150 flags. This is something that we're wanting to do. We got to figure out a storage area, but you know, anybody that wants to help or anybody that wants to donate toward the purchase of a flag, we will also take that.
And Director Ross, I think that y'all are kind of hoping that it may lead to volunteer people,
Other
residents
people.
and businesses putting out flags on their own on those days.
Right. It would just look beautiful when tourists are coming into town, that how patriotic and how much we care for our country and community.
I have a question. You're recognizing some national holidays and not others. Is there a particular reason why?
Well, the Labor Day and Memorial Day, those are patriotic holidays. 4th of July, we were just, right now, we can do any holiday. We'll take suggestions from anybody. But you also got to think about labor intensity and everything. But any holiday is fine with us. You know, a suggestion, somebody give us a suggestion, we'll be glad to.
All right, I guess just need to be a motion to approve the placing of the flags and the installing of the flags. It's not gonna be a one-time deal. Is that,
Yeah, similar to that. They'll be a little further out, about 20 feet apart instead of that close.
And they'll be that size?
Yes, yeah, they're 3 by 5 flags. I will tell you, the only problem, I talked to North Little Rock, I've talked to Texarkana, if the wind is blowing one way and it happens to be toward the sidewalk, you're gonna get flapped. You know, but especially in July, you don't have that much wind in July and September. Now the one for Labor Day at the end of May, it's gonna be a little windy.
You're talking about cord holes actually in the sidewalk?
Yes,
Are they also putting in some kind of cord? to go
a
down?
sleeve, yes, a sleeve, got a way to slip. And I've gotta come up with something, maybe we can plug that so it doesn't fill up every time.
Or
Correct.
tear up more sidewalks?
Or, correct.
yeah. All right. Probably need to do a little location before y'all drill the holes too.
Correct.
Okay, what's the will of the board? I have a motion.
You just need a motion just for approval to allow them to do it, or?
I think so. Yeah, I'm just,
So moved.
yeah.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor to let the downtown committee install the flags and all the maintenance? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you, Mark.
Thank y'all.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all-
Thank you.
Y'all can stay if you need to. Okay, we're going back to the item 6, airport.
Yes,
We like talking about the airport.
we like talking about that. We're doing a lot. Daryl and his crew at the airport are doing a lot of good work out there. I mean, it looks beautiful. They're proactive and trying to bring about some new things, and this is one thing. I'm gonna ask Daryl to come to the podium and talk to you about a 90-10 grant from the Arkansas Aeronautics that he would like to apply for.
State your name.
Daryl Allen, airport manager extraordinaire.
Title. Like that.
Which hat?
Yeah. You've driven by the airport, you've seen probably some chain link fence down. That I found where we got a grant 25 plus years ago to put in some chain link, and there's 3 or 4 different flavors out there. Most of it is residential, lightweight, and it's rusting, and what is happening is they only put it in about 18 inches or less in the ground, concrete, and that shrink swell is, lately it's gotten worse. You know, I mean, it's been dry, and it's actually pushing all the fence out of the ground. So, we could spend lots of time and effort and try and keep that, redo that one. But we've got the opportunity through the end of June, we can get it. We have not used our 90-10 grant from Arkansas Aeronautics. 90% them, 10% us. Our 10% can be in kind. So the estimate from the fencing company was 10.2% of the project would be added if he needed to tear it down. So we've decided we will use some city labor equipment, and our in-kind match will basically be 10% of that project. Since we've been delayed on our lighting project you guys approved a couple months ago, things have been ordered and haven't come in. I threw that in. I was going to throw that in on the grant. We don't really have any in-kind part for that, so it would be cash out of pocket for the fencing project and the lighting, which was about $10,000. We'd be paying about $1,500 for $134,000 worth of work. So that's the estimate, as long as they approve everything. So I'm just asking that we proceed and get, and we're talking all of our chain link fence, replace it with commercial grade, heavyweight, black vinyl coated. All the posts are coated black. So you know, you've seen some green. The park has some green. JR thought it'd be kind of nice to make it all black, and you know, we started talking about just the pieces that were in real bad shape, and then will that look silly if we just do parts of it? And so we just threw it all in, and 2 new gates. One gate, if you're familiar with when you go out toward the CDL, that gate is probably older than Paul. Paul may have built it when he started. I have no idea.
Wow, that's old.
It is 100% unsafe, no code. It has no reversing, so if somebody gets caught in, a vehicle gets caught, it will continue to close until it breaks a chain or burns a motor up or throws a breaker. It has no reversing sensors. The other one is a little bit better. It is on the edge of, the company has gone out of business that makes those parts, so now it's whoever's got spare parts. So we thought, he gave me the estimate to throw all that in. So fencing and 2 gates, and lights, the beacon repair, we talked about that, and some new LED obstruction, those red lights that glow on the tower and stuff for 134 and some change was the estimate right now. So we just need to apply for the grant. I actually have sent it in as a draft. Went back and forth 3 or 4 times. We got it ready, just ready for a signature, and we'll be on the May meeting, which is in a week. We'll know by another week if we got it, and we can just start doing stuff, so.
So this fence goes around the
It is
airport?
a security, it's not to keep people out. You can't keep people out. We don't have enough fencing to do that. It's to keep vehicles from driving out onto the runway, driving around the building if they are not authorized access, like our leases and fuel truck and stuff like that, paid folks.
Daryl, is this from the gate that goes into the lobby and going back out toward the fuel tank?
This is
that fencing? And then the fencing that goes
all
from-
around the parking lot. As you're driving in, there's 2 short sections of 100+ feet.
Right.
That we were gonna replace it, because one of them is down on the ground right now. And as you're driving in, it's just, as you drive in, it's the fence to the left, the gate to the left, all the fence all the way down to the right. Just any chain link you see will be replaced.
How far does it go from the hangar to those extra outside hangars? Like the hangars that are on the runway? How
It
far
only
does that
goes to
chain
the
link
fuel,
fence?
it only
to
goes to the fuel,
Okay,
so
it stops right there.
total of right around 2,100 feet. So
Okay.
little, almost a half a mile of fencing.
Yeah.
So, the plan would be to remove the fabric. They told us how to remove that. Austin and maybe a couple other staff as we would switch them in and out, depending on how it goes. Remove the fabric, leave the posts up until they're basically ready to go. We'd start removing posts as they're coming in and putting them back in, so we don't leave it too vulnerable. So,
Yeah.
that's kind of that, and just kind of requesting that we move on. We talked a little informally about a grant, and this is kind of a formal request.
What's the height of that fence? Is it 6 or 8?
5.
5?
It's a 5. It'd all be 5.
Okay.
That's what he quoted. So, no barbed wire on top. Like I said, you can walk through several places. There's gates you can walk through. This is not for people. We'd have to install 2 or 3 miles of fence.
It's more or less to keep vehicles out.
Just to keep vehicles out. So.
Okay, and once again, this is coming from the airport fund.
Yep, this
So,
would be,
This is what it's made for.
yep. Yeah, and 90% of the project is coming from Arkansas Aeronautics. This is not touching any of our federal monies, which we're, trying to get for our runway safety and drainage project. We're not tapping into that. This is a grant that will, at the end of June, it rolls around and it starts another year, so we can get this year, and we could hit another 90-10, 80-20, 50-50 next year.
Sounds like a no-brainer
So,
to me.
we've used 80-20 for something already. This was some of the other stuff that we've done. We've used 80-20. So we had 50-50, 90-10. I was like, well, try for the 90-10. So,
Yeah. All right, is there a motion to apply for the grant?
So moved.
Second.
A motion second, apply for the 90-10 grant. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Daryl. Okay, are you the next one too?
Well, this gets to the bigger issue of the drainage project that Garver's been working on. We've brought to you several times. So we let bids on April the 11th. We opened bids on April 25th. The bids are as you see them there, and they're also attached, the formal bids are attached behind your agenda item. But the low bid is TEC for $1,479,865. That is above what engineer estimates were. So here's the bottom line. We'll need to spend, if we want to do this project, we'll need to spend in 2023, and this may go into early parts of 2024 it depends on when they start and the timing of bills, but we'll need about $1,613,844. And that'll include the TEC project and additional engineering fees. And if you look at these bullet points, this really kind of outlines, this is the money we've gotten free. This is what we get that doesn't cost us anything. We've got $272,000 in the bipartisan infrastructure law bill that was passed. We've already got that. We have $587,000 in our NPE funding available for this project, so that's federal money. In fact, if we don't use that this year, we may lose $150,000 of it, so we need to use it. And then, as you know, a few months ago, we were looking at some overages from the engineering, and they went back and asked for additional money.
Mm-hmm.
And we received additional money of $175,000, which is good if we can do this project. So that leaves us, this bottom figure, this leaves us with what we got to come up with. And the way we come up with it, it doesn't cost us anything, but it'll take a little time to get it all. So we need a $418,460 to do this project. And the way we propose to do it is we get BIL funding, which is that bipartisan infrastructure law funding for 3 more years. I think it goes out in 2026. We typically get about $110,000 a year. So we could use that fund. We could pay ourselves back. If we paid up front, when the money came in, we could pay ourselves back. That's appropriate to do under the FAA guidelines. Then that only give us about $330,000 of this $418,460. So we've got to come up with an additional $88,460. And so what our engineers are doing now is they're going back to the FAA asking, hey, we're about $88,000, $460 short. Can you help us out again with a little more AIP funding? And we'll see what the answer is on that. But I think what I would recommend to the board anyway is that we go ahead and give the engineers the authority and the low bidder, if y'all choose to accept the low bid. I think staff would recommend we move forward with this project, because if we don't, we could lose the $175,000 in additional money we've already received for this project if we decline the project and try to put it off to next year. And I think we'll also be in jeopardy of maybe losing the $150,000 NPE money that's due to be paid in this fiscal year. And that's not to say we might not could trade it. They could trade it, but we're getting down to a deadline with other airports. If we couldn't find somebody to trade it, we might lose it. So I think it's the engineer's recommendation that we move forward. We don't think we're going to get a better price. And this $88,460, if we end up having to pay it, we can pay ourselves back, even though there won't be any more BIL money. According to Jordan Culver, we could pay ourselves back this $88,460 out of the non-primary entitlement money we get every year. We get $150,000 roughly a year for non-primary airport entitlements. Every non-primary airport in the nation gets that amount of funding, that's to my knowledge, every year from the FAA, and you can bank it. So we've banked our 5 years. After 5 years, you lose it. But we could eventually make ourselves whole. We won't lose anything, even though we may have to take some money out of our check and wait for a couple of years to get it back. That's all I'm saying. And I think I think we got plenty of money to do it in the airport fund, but Daryl's also working on trying to work on some selling some trees, and so that may help replenish too if we can get that accomplished, within the next year, and bring some more revenues into that fund as well. But I'd make a recommendation that the board does approve it, and I'll just turn it over to the board.
All right. You've heard the explanation of it. It's been an ongoing project for sure.
JR, have they said that if we approve this, have they said possible start time or anything like that? Is there a projected?
I can't really say what we would do if you do approve it. They'll give notification. We'll have a pre-construction conference. We'll execute the contract documents. And there'll be a start, a leeway in there for that. We'll have a start date on that. At that point, it'll get negotiated, and then they'll begin their process. But I could let you know that as soon as I know.
I make a motion, we approve the sealed bids for the runway safety and drainage project from TEC for the amount of $1,479,865.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll get going on that one too.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're moving on to the, what did I say, the replacement of the speed bumps in downtown Hope.
Oh, I may have gone too far.
Yeah, item 8.
Yeah, so as y'all know, we've had a single stop sign there. We've had a three-way stop sign there in the past. We've had a one-way stop with speed bumps, a one-way stop without speed bumps. It's been a collage of opportunities. The speed bumps were taken up fairly recently because they became loose, and so the street department took them up with the intent to put them back down at some point when they had the opportunity and to get some maybe things to repair it. That led to some discussion among some of the board, and it was asked to put this on the agenda to maybe consider just making that a three-way stop. Certainly, I don't think there's any problem with doing that. I think we can do it. It's really what the board wants to do. We can make it a three-way stop, a one-way stop, a no stop. We can put speed bumps, really what the board wants us to do. Just give us direction, and we'll accomplish what you want.
Well, I think Mark might have some comments, but we've had some comments from tailgaters and the depot. A lot of visitors coming. I'm always afraid a visitor's going to come out of the depot and go across the street. They've gotten the speed back up since the speed bumps have left, but they were about to figure out how to go around the speed bumps anyway, so they wasn't doing much good. But I think the residents down there would like to see some stop signs.
Yeah, and I know on 2 occasions going through there late at night, I've gone through there and stopped and had to pull bumpers, the plastic facade on the front of cars, and put it on the sidewalk, because when they hit there so fast, they knock the bumpers off. Don, I tell you, them things are only held on with little plastic push buttons. So, and I can remember when we did have a three-way stop, and I personally just think it works much better. Division Street, especially when a train goes through and a train's coming, let's say if it's going west, they turn on Hazel, they try to beat that train. And they're flying to get down to Elm or Hervey if they have to go to the underpass. But I just think that we need to stop them on Division, but at the same time, that becomes dangerous for people coming off Main Street. So, because if somebody comes off Main Street and they're flying on Division, it's going to be a heck of a T-bone. So my recommendation is a three-way stop.
Is there room there on the sidewalk though? I mean, will it still be ADA compliant or whatever for the sidewalk?
Yeah, it used to be there.
They
took them
one
down.
used to be there?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I couldn't
It
remember
was,
when
it was probably way before you moved to Hope.
I think JR is talking about probably taking up just one brick.
Yeah.
There's concrete on the other side, but he'll have to take up one brick to go down to put it on the depot side.
That's the one I'm kind of concerned as on the depot side there.
I think
The
so.
sidewalk on there as far as.
If for some reason we can't meet the MUCTA rule or whatever that is, MUCTA,
Yeah.
I forget what they call it.
Any.
There's a book that kind of tells you which. If we did run into a problem, I'd let you know. I don't foresee that being a problem, but I mean, if we did run into a problem, I'd let you know.
And that sidewalk's like 6 to 7 foot wide right there, so.
Yeah, it's
there's
pretty
plenty of
Should be
room.
fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is there any other discussion, or I guess we need a motion to install it, don't we, JR?
I'd just like a motion from the board, what y'all direction you want to give us. Yeah.
How many stop signs?
If you want to make it a three-way stop, you can make a motion to make it a three-way stop, and we'll do our best to do that.
I make a motion, we make a three-way stop at the intersection of South Main and Division.
And a second.
Okay. Motion is second to install stop signs.
That's a good idea.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, guys. make some people happy. Probably some unhappy, but that's okay. Item 9, consider the tornado sirens.
Chief of Police is here, come to the podium, and she's going to talk to you about a problem we have with one of our weather sirens. I think she'll probably also talk to you about, there's some new technology, of whether or not y'all want to repair the siren or not, but there's a lot to consider about this.
There's a lot to consider, yes. So the police department is currently responsible for doing the weekly paging fire department tests and also the siren tests. And for several weeks now, the siren out at, we call it Clinton, but it's listed as Lake Shore, the one out there that's behind the Clinton school, has been down. We've had some people come and look at the siren, and it's gonna be costly to repair. It was so costly that I was a little shocked by it, so I said, well, hey, give me a replacement cost. And so we need to talk about repairing, because that replacement cost really shocked me. The repair cost on it is $15,940.71 to fix it. To replace the whole thing, brand new, because they're aging, they're old. I can't tell you how old, because I think they've all been here since I've been here. So I don't know how to say how old they are other than real old. The replacement cost is $48,032.18.
That's the whole system.
That's the whole system. Now, I will say that $15,000 of that is outside services for an electrician. They'd have to have somebody come in, an electrician, and put it together.
How many sirens is that?
4. My understanding it's 4.
Well, it's one siren location.
Yeah, it's one
The
siren.
48.
There's four
Horns.
horns on it. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your
That's
question.
one siren.
One siren, $48,000.
One pole, per pole.
Currently, we have, how many sirens in the city?
6.
6.
At 6 different locations.
At 6 different locations. We've got, there's one on Holiday Drive, there's one at Northside Park, there's one at Fair Park, there's one at the college, there's one at Clinton, and there's one at
West 67.
67 across from the boat shop. And they're all
And the
working.
fire station.
And the fire station, I'm sorry, there's 7, you're right. They are all working, we keep them working, we've expended some money here and there on them, we replaced batteries. But we kept them going this long, so it's really kind of up to the board to kind of give us some direction. Do you want to try to keep using them? If you do we want to replace it, or do we want to fix it? And if you don't want to do that, then I think, my understanding is the county has moved to using something called Code Red. It's more of a technology-based phone notification system.
But right there too, there's a lot of free stuff. You don't have to even do Code Red. I mean, the WEA, which stands for National Weather Service Alert, Emergency Alerts, Weather Emergency Alerts. It's the certain agencies within the federal government. If they put it out an alert, all you got to do is go on your phone, go into your settings, say I want to receive all the alerts, and you'll get those alerts right to your phone. Now, kids in school, they won't have access to their phones probably, but the administration could have access to phone and maybe hear it and give an announcement about a tornado warning. There's a lot of new technology that makes this obsolete, but it's really the board's decision whether or not y'all want us to put the siren back up. At the minimum, it'll be $15,000, almost
say $16,000.
Yeah, almost $16,000 just to repair this old one, and we don't know how long it'll stay repaired.
How old is the system itself?
It's longer than she's been
28,
here.
29 years
It's
old
probably
at
30,
least.
probably 30, 35.
I wish Paul was still here, he could have.
As far as parts and stuff, I mean, it's still not an issue as far as getting parts.
Oh, it is becoming an issue. That's why it's hard.
Yeah.
But that's why, maybe a new one would, but these are hard to
Is
get.
that new one, is the reason why it costs so much because it has to be integrated with the other 5 sirens, or
Let's think of
is
that
that
high.
why?
They work independently.
We set them all off at the same time, so they are,
The way they work though is when they push a button, it sends out a radio signal. And then that radio, inside at each site, there's a radio, actually a physical handheld walkie-talkie type radio
looks
inside the box. and it has an antenna on top of the box. And when it hits the signal, it knows to set that siren off. And that siren's set to stay going for so long. And then
We
if they hit
actually-
the button again, it'll go off again.
We actually set off for the county at the same time. And for the county ones, I don't have any idea about how many they have or what's working or not, but for the ones that do work, those go off. I think I still, I hear, I think somebody said in Washington that one still works, but I mean, I'm not sure what all they have, but when we set them off, they all go off.
Is there one for the county near Clinton Primary in that area?
Not to my knowledge.
I think Perrytown's
I
the
just really don't
closest.
know. I think there's one in Spring, I know, I've been told about one in Spring Hill and one in Washington, but I'm sorry, I don't know.
I don't
Perrytown
think-
has one and Silver Springs has one. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've heard recently, the one in Spring Hill, they're having troubles with.
See,
I don't-
And they're facing the cost issue just like we
I
are.
don't think they're repairing them when they
I
go
don't
out.
either.
I was,
I know that.
I was told today, I was over here, I was told today in a meeting I was in with Kathy Aaron, she said, Judge Crane is looking to repair every one of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
He wants them all working where the previous administration wanted none working because of the expense, but,
Yeah.
but she said none of them are working currently. I don't know that if she was exaggerating or what, but, Blevins has one, I mean, they're all, each school has one, and toward Patmos, there's one. and,
Correct.
But they've had issues with them long, and they're like 50 grand a piece, so that's why they're like, yeah.
She probably got the same quote. There's a good chance she got the same quote.
Well, it's the same people, probably the same,
Same people,
probably a
yeah.
few, just a few
We got a
people.
quote from Procom because that's who comes and helps us when we have problems.
And they're
But,
at
yeah,
Texarkana,
if we wanted to do something, we'd be going through a bid process, I think, if we
Oh,
wanted to replace.
Is
I mean,
Procon out of Texarkana? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are other cities doing? I mean, are they, this was kind of the deal when we put them in. I remember when we put them in, because there wasn't any, I said cell phone, but there wasn't anything like
Technology.
Code Red. There wasn't anything like that. And my problem with the sirens, the one time that we had actually a tornado come to Hope, at my shop, I couldn't hear the siren. The rain it was raining so hard, we couldn't hear, and I'm 2 blocks away. I mean, I should have been able to hear it, and yet we were making a comment, we couldn't hear the sirens because the storm was so much. But I guess it would warn you before the storm got there. But, it's always, do you hit the button or you don't hit the button, and when do you hit the button?
We
And
hit the button when we have a tornado warning.
Yeah, and it's,
And of course, we usually have people out, deputies
Looking.
out and officers out, in all of the areas looking to lay eyes on something. And of course, if that happens, or if we get a second warning, we set them off again. Now,
Right.
sometimes it's just rotation in the air and we start getting a bunch of phone calls, about who saw
who
what.
saw what when?
And we have to tell them, it's just it's a warning and there's rotation, or we've been notified usually by the National Weather Service. We get our direction from them.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Or if somebody calls in and says, I saw one, then we'll set them off.
I do
Better
have-
safe than sorry,
I do have one question. The current ones, and I don't know why I'm thinking this, do they rotate?
Some of them do, and some of them have four horns, and it may be both.
And that's what I don't like about the ones that rotate, because it fades and you don't hear it for a second or
minute.
two, and then it
Yeah.
comes back. And where you're
Yeah.
at, you would even easily mistaken it for the railroad.
The 48,000's for oscillating, so it would turn,
It would turn.
yeah.
So what's the 4 horn? I thought, did you say 4 horns?
Yeah, there are some four
Okay.
horns out there. But this particular quote it says a directional oscillating high power siren. I can get you copies of this quote.
Personally, I'd like to see it get repaired. I mean, it's just, I know technology is there, but not everybody has the technology, and I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Well, especially
I
that
agree, I
location.
agree with that, especially the location near that school, and then putting the burden on administrative staff to have their phones available, to know that there's an alert, and.
I understand, absolutely.
Yeah, I
I mean,
kind
a
of.
good example, let's look at Wynn High School, what just happened to Wynn.
Absolutely.
But it's, yeah, and there's only one out. If we was looking at 4, it'd be different.
But I guess we need to make a plan for the future. If this is 30 years old, then we're going to have to make some sort of plan. There's got to be some sort of technology out there for sirens that, that can be cheaper though. I just find that very hard to believe that
Like I said,
they're
a large,
made out of gold plate or what, I don't know.
a large portion of that was the electrician. That was $15,000 they had, and that's what took me so long to get that quote.
But the electricity already going to it, right?
Well, I guess to install the new was 15.
In the wrong
But-
business.
Well, and that's just the quote. We'll definitely bid it out and see what we can get it better. That was just the initial cost
The
estimate.
15,000 was repair, and of course the 48, yes, was.
Yeah, I would definitely like, if we do the bid process on also the four horn. I like that much better than I do
And I'll
the,
ask to be sure, because this may be a 4-horn and it rotates. I need to get some better information.
because I'm kind of like Don, you know, you hear it, then you don't hear it, then you hear it.
Yeah.
At least the four horn is more,
So not repair,
continuous.
we're looking at replacing, not repairing?
We're looking at repairing right now. but we
Repair,
want-
okay.
I think
And
we
then
want to
looking
look
at
at,
going forward.
yeah, going forward,
Okay.
how much it'd be.
So y'all want us to replace it? I mean, or repair it?
Repair.
Repair, okay.
is that a motion?
Yeah, so then, like I said, you just have to have a quote on that, you don't have, doesn't have to go through.
It doesn't have to go, if repairing a 15,000 does not require bidding,
Okay.
we'll get quotes on it. If y'all give me the authority to do it, I'll sign off on it, we'll do it.
Okay, I move we receive, get quotes to repair the Clinton primary tornado siren.
Second.
Okay, motion second to repair it. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Great.
I just asked the board to remember if when we come out of, we're not within budget, just remember these types of votes. Because this is not budget.
You know, and just incidentally, we can still have Code Red or any of those other, I mean, we can still promote using those things too. I mean, it's not gonna hurt to be notified more than
No,
one way.
not at all.
And some people may like that better, so just throwing that in there.
Okay.
All right. Go down to JR.
Yes, sir, that's, I'll just give you some quick things. We had our citywide cleanup last weekend, 71 loads of rubbish to the landfill, 42 by city staff, 29 by private residents. We estimate 786 cubic yards of material. We also had volunteers, Mark's group, what's it called?
Great American Cleanup.
Great American Cleanup, and then the PD also has adopted some streets, and we picked up 72 bags of litter along our streets and roadways, and we're taking it out to the landfill. Although typically we don't take household trash, for this volunteer group we do, and so we're picking up litter along the side of the street. We picked up Grady, Generator Street, West 7th, Lakeshore Drive, Greenwood, Spruce, and North Walker. And so I think it looked a lot better. Staff's addressing construction complaints that we've had at TCC, and they've been very responsive. We've had a lot of good comments about how responsive TCC's been. You may have noticed a couple of wood bridges getting to some businesses. They've been really helpful. Wanted to let you know that. Good company we're working with there, I think. Train and trade days this Saturday, correct?
Correct.
I just want to remind everybody about that. The Jack Williams softball tournament is this weekend. So far, we have 26 teams already signed up. I think I already told y'all, but I wanted to let you know that Cindy came to me a couple weeks ago, and revenues are looking good. We had a little extra above what we typically need, and we went ahead, and while we had a good market on CDs, we invested an additional $500,000 in a 26-week CD at 4.6%, something of that nature. So I think that's a good thing to build up things for the future. I met with Dr. Crossley and Maurice Henry. They have some exciting news. They're sharing with me they're going to come to the board probably at our next board meeting to talk about something they're trying to do at the special election, and if this passes, that may involve trying to do something more with Legion Field and trying to do some upgrades and things of that nature, along with many other things they're trying to do. This is just one piece of the pie, but I wanted to share that with the board, and I think they'll be coming soon to talk about what their plans are and share that with the board. Also met with Justin Deviney today at he's our lawn care service specialist out at the cemetery. if you go out there today, it looks really nice. They were working hard out there for the last few days. And I just wanted to meet with Justin and make sure he and I were on the same page about what we want to accomplish. And he and I had a good discussion, and I think things are going to go well. And he was very cordial and nice. And he said, look, if there's anything that we feel like that, they could do better, please let them know. And I said, I appreciate that. And so I think we've got a good relationship going. I think things are going to get to where they need to be. The last few weeks I hadn't been so happy with it, but I think we're getting there, and just wanted to let the board know. And that's everything I have.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
I just want to make a comment. I want to thank all the groups that helped with the citywide cleanup. They did a great job. Got several good pictures of the mayor and the first lady and the police chief. I mean, I was really, Director Easter over here was out there picking up with the kids, and I just think it was a really good thing. We want this to continue growing. Ms. White, her group is great. Everything that they do in the community, so I really want to thank everybody again for an outstanding, and all the city staff as well. They did a very good job.
Yeah, once we got up to speed, there was a lot of people working. We were waiting for people at the hub and kind of worried about a crowd, but we had a crowd.
They finally showed
some
up.
good groups come out, and I really appreciate it. I tell you what, it makes you look at trash a whole different way after you pick it up for about 2 hours. But I hope all the citizens can have a little pride in the neighborhood and just take care of things.
I really hope our
was
next
good.
one, I think it's going to be in July. Maybe the ditches will be a little drier because several people had to step off in some pretty muddy situations.
Yeah.
I know Eddie Garcia's daughter went about 1.5 feet deep in one spot.
Yeah. But thank you to all the citizens that came out. I really appreciate it. Okay, citizen request. All home, folks.
I
Sylvia.
did want to pop up. I'm your neighbor from Fulton, Sylvia Brown, but I was at last week's quorum court meeting where the judge did bring up the sirens, and from that evening I went home and did a search for available grants, and there are available grants, and so I don't know if the entities, either the chief or city manager, have researched that, utilizing funds through rural development, and actually coincidentally one of the weather casters from Little Rock had commented on legislation that Senator Bozeman and someone else had just introduced regarding tornado warnings, and the map that weather person indicated was that the north end of the county, our neighbors there, Bingen, Cloud, etc., are in a dead zone when it comes to the sirens, and of course we all know the age of them. And so I know I'd spoken to the city manager regarding housing and utilizing consulting firms to research and identify funding opportunities. I'd certainly be happy to support you all in doing that. I was going to reach out to the judge as well, because the way that funding support works is that if you're able to get a holistic approach, perhaps tiering where your priority spots are and going after dollars in this grant year or calendar year, tiering the second level to go after a second tier could possibly work, and utilizing support letters from the county, from the school district, etc., and even these municipalities. So all that to say that this is an opportune time to examine the resources that are available, like say rural development, FEMA, and perhaps some other sub-agencies. So I'm available to pitching.
Okay, thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you for your information.
Yeah, we'll check on that on the side of things. All right, anybody else? No? What?
I was asking about Mr. Bazil's.
Oh, yeah, Eddie, I would like to say something about how much we regret the passing of Eddie Brazil. What a great citizen of the Hope. I tell you what, Eddie would do a lot of things for a lot of people. He was really a good guy. I've known him ever since he came here, and I tell you what, Friday at 2 at First Baptist is the funeral. But for him and his family, I wish his sorrows go out to him. Anything else before we go? All right, meeting is adjourned.